Well, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in to my Facebook Live today. I am going to show you how to dry brush a weathered wood table. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Jamie. I am a stylist and designer at All Mimsy Home, which is a local and a online business. And the goal of All Mimsy Home is to inspire and empower you to make your spaces beautiful. And everything I do is all about that. So today our task is to teach you how to dry brush a table. If you've been following my stories or online, you know we are in the process, when I'm not working for clients, we are doing an office makeover, and I have taken down cabinet doors and have them currently down in my garage, and I'm in the process of painting those. But today I wanted to paint this table. We have put a base coat of gray on it, and I am going to be dry brushing to look like weathered wood. First of all, there are two questions that you may have as I go into this tutorial today. One, why are we doing faux wood? Why not just go get some weathered wood and put the authentic stuff in here? And that's a great question. I love to go authentic when I can, but the truth of the matter is cost is always a factor. This table and desk was already in the room, and the wood is in great condition. It just wasn't the color that we wanted. So for cost effectiveness, we decided to just paint it the way we wanted it to look. Also, the reason we're going faux is availability. You'd like to think that all of us had a really cool looking old barn in our backyard that we could tear wood off and use at our whim around our home to get that rustic look that so many of us love. But most of us don't have a barn in our backyard, so we have to do faux painting techniques and things like that instead. So that's what we're doing today. The second question you may have is, what if I mess up? What if I start painting and doing a dry brushing technique or any painting technique and I completely mess it up? Trust me, I have been there so many times I can't even tell you. So you are not alone in that fear. I still have that fear that when I dive in, I might mess up. But here's the good news. This is paint. Anything you paint, you can let dry, sand down, and repaint. So really, there's nothing to fear, because if I completely mess up today, I can just paint over with gray and start again later today, or even start again tomorrow. So don't be afraid to start painting anything, because you can always paint over it. Supplies that we're going to use today, I have a paintbrush. I like to use paintbrushes that have a shorter handle because they fit in my hand better. This happens to be a Worcester paintbrush, but a Purdy paintbrush is a real good quality brush as well. I have a paper plate, and this is just a simple supply for holding my paint as I paint today. I have 3 paints on this paper plate. If you hear a lot of tussling in the background, I have 2 small dogs, and right now they are playing in the hallway, and they just happened to choose this moment to start wrestling and playing around. So that's the sound you hear. Normally they sleep when I'm doing this kind of thing. I have 3 colors of paint today. I have white, I have a shade of brown, and I also have black. And each one of these colors will play a role in our final product today. I also brought along a sample board to show you. This is the flooring that is currently in this in our room, and this is flooring from Home Depot. It's a weathered wood, kind of a grayish tone flooring, and you'll notice when you look at faux weathered wood, you see usually a gray undertone, and then there will be kind of white streaks throughout that are like a sun-bleached color, because as wood sits in the sun, it bleaches out over time. So that's going to be some of your streaks of white. You also have some darker tones of browns and grays, or I'm sorry, browns and blacks that might mimic knots in the wood, or areas the sun hasn't hit yet, or areas the wood was stained. So that's why I picked 3 colors, white, brown, and black, and we're going to use all 3 of those today as we are in the process of doing our dry brushing. So let's dive in. What I do is I usually put my plate kind of near my station where I'm working. I am going to just focus on this front section today for this tutorial, and I will finish the rest after I turn you guys off today. But I am going to start right here, so I'm just going to go ahead and place my paint right there so it's easy reach. And then I'm going to hold a paper towel in my hand. I use this to dab off any excess paint, because as hard as I try, sometimes when I dip down into paint, I get a little more on there than I intended. Then I just brush it off, make it a little more dry, and then go for it. This gray is an Annie Sloan color called Linen, and the other colors were just out of my paint stash. I have so many colors of paint downstairs, I just picked 3. So we're going to start with white, because white makes the biggest impact as you're dry brushing, and we're going to dive in with a little bit of white. So I'm just going to dab a little bit of white on my brush. I'm going to dab it on the paper towel, and then using a very, very light touch, I am going to just graze this brush over the top of the gray. Are you ready? Here we go. Graze it this way, graze it back. I'm mimicking the grain of wood. And I'm kind of tapping, letting it touch a little bit on the edge and catch on the edge to get a nice little spot. I'm coming back up, dabbing more on my paper towel, and I'm going to come over here and lightly touch this white. Now I know you're not able to see the effects of this very much. You will be able to see a photo of the finished product on my Facebook page when I'm done today, but I'm just here to show you the technique so you can kind of see how I'm doing this. I'm just going back and forth, really light touch, kind of tapping along the edge to highlight the edge of the table. Going up against a wall can be a little tricky because it's hard to get a flowing streak of wood, but I'm going to go ahead and just come in here anyway and keep a really light touch. And then as I go along, I kind of step back and look. And I see if I did an even job throughout. And I'm not trying to make it completely uniform, because faux wood is not completely uniform, right? There is a lot of, I'm going to pause 1 second here. I will be right back. I'm going to let my dogs outside to play. All right, I'm back. That is real life right there, people. You should just be lucky that I don't have all my kids here today. Then we'd have all kinds of interruptions and chaos. Bless their little hearts. I'm just coming back with the white. I'm not trying for complete uniformity, because faux wood does have uneven grain. It has uneven parts. It sometimes has a knot right in the middle that disrupts everything else. So I'm just kind of coming along and dabbing. Nice dry brush, again mimicking wood grain. And then I just come along on this white, make sure and get my edges. You can kind of see along here. I'm going to dab on a little white. You can see I'm just barely laying paint down, just barely. And the funny thing is, if there's any spot on here that I'm like, oh, I don't like that, that came across too dark, I can always paint over it or come back later with another color to kind of make it more what I want it to be. And even when I'm all done, I can come back. All right, I'm going to stop there with the white. I'm going to kind of wipe off the rest of the white off my brush, and then I'm going to come and start with a little bit of brown, because every piece of weathered wood has a little brown undertone as well. So I'm going to come and bring my brown in and start streaking brown through in the same way, but a little less application. I like a little more white on my weathered wood than brown, so my brown is going to be a very, very light touch. Very light touch through here. Now, one of the things I will do once I'm done dry brushing this table is I am going to be putting coats of sealant over the top, some kind of poly. I haven't quite decided what poly I'm going to use, if I'm going to use some kind of wax, if I'm going to use a hard coat poly, but I will do something to protect this work surface because we do use this space a lot. Again, I'm just coming through with my brown, getting some nice touches of brown through there. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing already is this brown is almost a little lighter than is my first choice. But that's the wonderful thing about paint. What I'm going to do now is come in with black. Now, for some of you, putting any black on your paintbrush right now would be scary because black is a very bold color and you could easily put a big streak of black along here that would throw off your whole look and be somewhat intimidating. So go in really light, but let me tell you, black is magic. Black is magic in a room. Black is magic as a small streak across your weathered wood. Black adds strength, it adds depth, it adds substance. Black is a wonderful color for any space, any decor. You always need a touch of it to strengthen whatever you're doing. So don't be afraid of it. Just come in real light, tap a little on, come in and start streaking black on here. The other thing you can do with black is kind of tweak your brush just a little bit and start to mimic a little bit of wood knots, if you're that brave. If you're not, that's okay. You can just streak it back and forth, streak it back and forth. We are coming along here with some black. It's looking really good. I'm liking this look. And now see, my tricky task is going to be to tie in this same application on the other half of the table after we hang up today. All right. And that is, my friends, how you dry brush. Again, the technique is fairly simple. You tap a little on your paper towel, on your plate. Always have a paper towel in your hand. Notice my paper towel has lots of different colors on it, already mixing together. But I use that to tap off any excess, and then I just go back in and just keep adding color wherever I want. It's actually quite liberating to dry brush because you get to create a completely different look on a whim, and it's all you. No one else can take credit for this amazing faux result. All right, I think I am going to stop there for the day because I think that you've gotten enough tools and enough samples of what I've been doing here today to dry brush your own furniture piece or tabletop or sign at home. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I always love to come online like this and help you make your spaces a little bit more beautiful. Again, my name is Jamie. I'm with All Mimsy Home. Please feel free to share this with anybody that you think might benefit from it, and I will see you next time. Take care.